for it. Yeah. Uh, Actually, it starts at 6 o'clock our time and runs to at least 7, maybe 7:30.
What do they have on their mind today? You'll never know. Here we are. Let's start the show. What's going on, Todd? How you doing?
Doing very well, Adam. Good to hear you on there, brother. Hey, I went out and I went shopping today. I went out and bought a new shirt, new wardrobe today. And you know what? It kind of bothered me. My price tag was $69.69. And, I paid for it, no problem. But it got me thinking about, of course, 69 brings up a lot of different, how can I say it? Morality and value issues and whatnot. Is that what I'm worth? $69?
Well, Todd, I thought for a second you were trying to come on to me. But, word, value. That's a word that can mean just about a lot of things. Can people feel value? I mean, you got this new Threads on, which, by the way, you're looking pretty. You weren't married, buddy. But you're looking pretty sharp in the little studio tonight. Well, it kind of brings out your eyes. All right, I'll quit flirting with you. But no, seriously, how do you feel wearing those clothes?
Well, I feel very well. It's a very, very black shirt and, a couple of line stripes and this and that. I feel very confident and everything. Yes. Styling, profiling, jet plane flying, limousine driving. No, I feel very confident in it, but is it really the wardrobe makes the man or the woman or whatever? How does that go?
Well, Todd, that's what got me thinking this week. I kind of stepped back for about, I don't know, about 35, 40 minutes and was listening to a topic, I think it was last night or yesterday afternoon, of morals and value and so on, which all kind of tie up into one little bunch. You say you feel like jet flying, sexy multiplying, studly type of guy, wearing these threads you got on today. Now, does that make you say it makes you feel, well, not necessarily rich, but it makes you feel good about yourself. Now you just need to squirt a little cologne on and you got it going on. But, does it bring you a happy feeling inside to where you could maybe walk into a job or an interview and say, hey, I'm here, I'm dressed for the job, I'm ready to go? Or does value also mean feelings? Feelings of what people think. Feelings of what people think about you and how you think about yourself. What are you thinking?
Well, I look at it this way. I say, you know what? You can dress to impress, and you could spray to, to smell good and this and that. But if you don't have the knowledge or anything like that, I don't take credit for anybody's accomplishments, anything like that. I just go in with my resume and whatever, and that's it. I mean, I go in, I can look snazzy and whatever, and not that I really wear a suit, not too often. I'm a blue collar worker, but I'm not going to take credit for anybody else's work. I know what I could do, and that's it. And I deal with it on that basis, but I don't pull no punches either.
So value then to you, and help me out if I'm wrong, value to you from what I'm gathering you're saying, is value is something important that someone needs to be able to have internally in themselves to be able to share it with anybody else. For instance, knowledge. What you know might be a little bit more than I know, but if you're willing to share it and I'm able to absorb it, then I can be as knowledgeable as you. Wow, that is kind of a cool thing, because I feel that there's so many people in the world today that you feel like their value is less than a grain of salt. Why is that? Do you have any ideas?
Well, I grew up in an age that, as I got taught, and I teach people, even to this day, I'm in a supervisory position in my job, but I'm not the top dog. But if somebody in my crew, one of my workers, comes up with an idea and I implement it, I will go to my boss and go, this person, came up with this idea. I came up with something else. They came up with it. It was actually better than what I thought. I give them all the credit in the world. I don't take credit for it. I give credit where credit's due.
So your self-value is put on the side, and you're not you're able to control yourself, even though it was the most awesomest idea in the world. It made thousands of dollars for your company, and therefore it wasn't truly your idea, but you're going to give credit where it's due and have that person recognized. That is an outstanding way of sharing your morals, A, and B, your value. Value too is not necessarily a price tag, folks. And value is something that makes you who you are. If you can wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm going to have a good idea of what today's going to be. I'm going to do everything I can to make it what it is and be what it is and do what I need to do to make sure that I stay positive. Then you got great values. Values are numerous things that you can take from other people. Nobody wants to sit in our topic earlier was closet, and sit there all by yourself and not have anybody to talk to, or sit in a corner and not have anybody to talk to. We talk about the corner an awful lot. Once in a while it's a played joke on the ROC. But, honestly, the corner is not where a person should be. A person should be able to be who they are. If they're outspoken and loud and obnoxious, you can't change that. That's that person's way of communication. That's how they feel. That's how they have a way of communicating that is kind of maybe strange to us, but that's their values saying, hey, I'm somebody too. I want to be acknowledged. Have you ever had those type of outbursts there, Todd?
No, you're absolutely correct. No, everybody in the ROC or in CB Radio Drama Free should be acknowledged and be accepted and everything, and we always do that. And I get that in work all the time. As a supervisor and whatever, I get guys to come in and they're afraid, being that I'm a supervisor and we go out on an emergency call and they're like, what should I do? Well, what do you think if I should do this? Give me your ideas. Give me your suggestions. You know, that's going to be the greatest asset to you. You know, give me your ideas. I'm the one that makes the ultimate decision, but, you know, and it's all going to fall back on me. But you know what? I'm going to give you credit that you came up with ideas. You know, I might be trying to do something and you come to me and go, well, instead of putting it this way, why don't we do it this way? You know what? I like that.
Ooh. Right. Can I ask Todd and Adam? Right. What do you feel about people just sat around talking instead of working? Because where I work, it happens all the time. You see people just chatting away, and I'm busy working, and I'm thinking, now, am I being taken for a mug here? Or, you know, it's just, you know, get the job done and then do the talking afterwards.
Psycho, you know, that's a hard deal. In my line of work and whatnot, I could dock people time and everything. If your supervisors or whatnot are not doing that, then that might be something to take up with them. You know, go through the rules and regulations of your company and the policies and procedures on that.
Right, so, and, you know, even though, Psycho, that it does bring down, you know, maybe not to where you're going to go cry about it, but it does take a toll on you because you're sitting there doing all the work and maintaining what you're supposed to be doing, and your ears twitching because you're hearing them screw around. You know, that does make you kind of feel like, well, does my self-worth or value mean anything to this company for them to get away with it and get paid to do nothing, and you're getting stuck doing all the work? Yes, I would do exactly what Todd says. Maybe whisper some, or write a note in a suggestion box. Don't sign it, and say, hey, this is how I feel. This is what's going on. This is the department it's going on in. Maybe this needs to be looked through the cameras and checked out, or whatever. Very good point there. That's a different type. That's exactly what I was looking for. There's different avenues of this value situation. The other indication that I wanted to point out too is when people are quiet and don't say anything at all. Closed mouths don't get fed. That's the number one rule in my book. If you have something to say, you should feel free to say it. Though you don't put people down saying it, there's other ways of saying, hey, I'm dissatisfied with the situation. I think it needs to be looked at, and carry on and keep your self-worth and your value positive. So many people, that one little thing hurt them or make them feel like, oh, I can't do it. And then they get aggravated with themselves, and that carries over to other people. And that's where sometimes people wind up getting hurt or hurting other people that don't necessarily mean to do so. What do you think about that, Todd?
Well, I say this. You know, I'm the second in command at work. So everybody under my command, they all come to me first. And they're like, I got to take a day off. I got to do this. I got to do that. I don't like the job I'm doing today. Whatever. This, that, and the other thing. My boss comes in. We sit in the office. We decide the orders for the day. I go out. I give the orders. Once the orders are given out, my boss goes and disappears for like hours. It's like he don't want to deal with the crew, so I'm the one to deal with the crew. So my guys are like, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to do this? And I'm like, you know what? You're getting paid. It doesn't matter. This is what it is. It's your job for the day. And they got to argue and just waste time all day long. No, this is what you're getting paid for. But why my boss disappears, I have no idea, and I can't argue with him about it.
I think it's important to realize something, guys, with this value situation, and we're going to open up the lines for other people to chime in. I want to make this very quick clause on part of this topic. You never promise tomorrow. You never promise to be able to wake up the next day. With that being said, with the day that you have, keeping your value up, knowing that you're a special person in your own way, and keeping your aggression or your depression down, and know that you can keep your head up high, knowing that you're doing the best that you can make you a world of difference on how you get through your day and how other people look at you. And yeah, it's not all about the way other people feel, but it does help you out when you know that you've done the best you can to make someone smile. Well, let's open up the lines. Let's see what other people do to keep their values up, and maybe there's somebody that tears them down. What do you do to fix that? Todd, real quick. I believe Psychomegapus, you were talking about your work. You said that the guys like to goof around. I know that must interfere with your work because it irritates you. How do you maintain going through the whole day with those guys screwing around and you're doing all the work? How does that make you feel? And how do you get by your days with that happening?
Well, I end up thinking that I'm going to end up with a bad back from all this carrying of everybody else. I thought the forklift truck's supposed to do the work, not me carrying everybody else. Yeah, it is pretty obvious when you see like groups of reach trucks, because you can see the mass above everything else, and they're just sat stationary for like 20 minutes. 3 or 4 of them all in a circle, and you think, we know what they're doing, they're just chatting away.
It is aggravating seeing the majority of the crew just sitting around and whatnot for 20 minutes and not getting any production done.
Is there anybody out there that's listening that feels the same way, that their self-value gets torn down by other people, that maybe they don't feel comfortable in their shell of your body because maybe sometimes your self-value goes so far down, whether you get yelled at work, whether your boss isn't recognizing what you do, your truck breaks down, you're sitting there not making money. That can be pretty sad in itself right there. That can make your self-value kind of think, what am I doing? How do I make up time? You go in a frenzy and you just kind of start freaking out. Is there anybody else out there that has any idea of how to make your self-value stay positive?
Oh, Adam, how about giving a shout out to Minecraft Kid 78 on YouTube?
Hey, Minecraft Kid 78. How we doing out there? I'm glad that you're listening in. Welcome to the This or That show, where I am out of Minnesota, and I got a co-host, Mr. Todd. We're waving at you out there, buddy.
Absolutely waving. Absolutely.
All right. Well, self value is something that people definitely have. We overlook that. When things go wrong, we don't really take consideration on how other people take what we say or what our actions we do can tear somebody down and make them feel like crap. And they lose that, self-value in themselves very easily. It's something that you want to protect as much as possible because it makes you who you are. With that being said, Todd, there doesn't seem to be anybody that wants to add to it. What other kind of topics can we go into? I thought today that you had mentioned something that kind of made my socks roll up and down.
Hang on one second, Adam. Eagle Mama would like to pipe up for a second. Guest person. Come on. Go ahead, baby.
All right. You know what, Adam? About the subject, the topic at hand that you were just talking about, the self-worth and the values and everything. I was raised very positively, and I've been a positive, kid and adult. And, what I used to tell my kids when they would get kind of downtrodden with life in general as kids growing up, other kids making them feel less than what they are, I used to tell them, be a duck. Be a duck. Let it roll off, like water off a duck. And that's kind of my motto and my theme of everything. I'm always positive about everything, even when we're in a bad situation. And that's what I look at it as, and this too shall pass. Whatever it is you're going through is not going to stick around forever. And if you just have that attitude to keep your chin up and be a duck, let it roll off, keep going, tomorrow's going to be better.
Ooh, duck, plum sauce in a pancake roll. Ooh, there you go. I do like duck.
Mama, I'm surprised you brought that up, actually, because I was going to add one more thing. I always told my son he was with his mom for a short period of time and her boyfriend, and was quite abused in many ways. And I actually had to teach him that everybody has a bucket. They're born with a bucket. And when you're born with a bucket, because you know not right from wrong, it's full of positive. You start off with that bucket full of positiveness. It's your choice to be able to dig in your bucket and show people positiveness. But if you accidentally leave your bucket lid off, then you start losing your positive, and people start putting negative in it. And it's and you can live life with negative, but you're not going to get very far. And he always looks at me to this day at going on 13 years old. He calls me because he's with his mom for the end of the school year. I'll get him this summer. But he always says, hey, Dad, my lid's tightly on my bucket. That's why I stay positive. And I melt, because it's like, dude, you remember that from when you were like little? Really? So yes, I get what you're saying, and I was raised kind of the same way, and that's why I more or less spread the happiness than any negativeness, because negativeness just brings other people down.
Doubt a lot of things, and I was abused physically, emotionally, mentally, especially in the relationships that I've been in, and so I tend to doubt myself and a lot of the things that I go through. But yeah, I try to stay positive and was going to say something else, but I forgot. But yeah, I just wanted to comment a little bit.
Thank you, Kayla. You know, and that's the other thing too, that I was going to hit on, but I wasn't sure quite how to do it. But since you brought it up, I'm going to leave it at this. You know, everybody has a happiness, and those sometimes some people like to, you know, poke and prod and tear it down. It's you and your in your shell. It's your private shell. Nobody can take 100% of your happiness away. You know, when I get sad and down and out, I have to think, what around me makes me happy? Going on the ROC channel here, thank you to Rattlesnake. I'm going to give a shout out real quick. Rattlesnake, LBT, Computer Chick, everybody out there that makes this possible for this to air and to be broadcasted live and streamed and so on and so forth. And just to have a place to come to relax, to be amongst other people that have listened to the ROC. It took me a little while to get a 100% warm feeling, but that's because I had a shell on. I tore down my shell or my brick wall, and I let the ROC fill my heart to where I can come on here and say, you know what, guys, I'm having a bad day. This is what happened. And you know what? By the time I'm done explaining it, I've already got people saying, you know what, it'll be better, you know, give it time, kind of help me out. And I feel like a whole new person. I feel re-energized. That is what makes the ROC drama-free a very, very outspoken, very unique family atmosphere. And there's nothing else out there like this. And with that being said, Todd, you got anything else?
Penis. Oh, it's all a gooey mess on the floor.
I thought I saw Todd slip and fall when he came in. Oh, Jesus. All right, mopping aisle 2, please.
Yeah, drop.
Need to put a cork in it.
Yeah, cork in it.
Plug that hole.
Plug that hole. Smart ass. No, Adam, I couldn't agree with you more with the ROC. It's definitely an open channel, and oh my God, it makes me happy every single day that I can broadcast on here and voice my opinions and, you know, try to make sure I stay within those lines.
And the friendships.
It's unreal. But going on along with that, and we're talking about values and everything, open it up to the audience. You know, what did mom and dad teach you? Do you still hold those values true to this day as adults?
And teach them to your kids.
And teach them to your kids, if you have them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was taught as a kid not to put my fingers in a AC outlet socket. Very hair-raising if you do.
Well, I would think, forget the fingers. I would think Psycho more not put a fork in the outlet.
Good evening, everybody. And I'm pretty much trying to raise her how I was raised and try to give her as much information and input into her to have the values as I had. So yes, most definitely, I still keep a hold of them.
So what would be your most important thing you would instill in your child?
My thing would be respect, loyalty, love, and honor, and cherish.
What about that the parent is always right, even if they're wrong? That was one that was brought up quite a few times when I was young.
Well, if I'm wrong, I always admit to my daughter that I'm wrong and I correct it.
What's happening? It's Porta Potty in Colorado, the Rocky Mountains. You know, the topic of what we were taught and what we're teaching our kids. You know, I tell my 16, 20-year-old, don't let life get you down. Let go of whatever it is that's got you depressed. And don't be anxious. Know that it's going to be okay. And live for right now so that what happens in the future is still to come.
Well, I couldn't have said it any better, Porta Potty. Thank you for your input and joining in with us. It's very nice to meet you. Yeah, in Love Bug, I definitely, wow, you actually had quite a few very important words that a lot of us don't always remember that list. You know, my kids, I always taught them how to love, care, and let go of any negativeness, because life is full of negativeness and you don't want to live in it. You deal with it and you move on. And to this day, I look back and say, hey, did I do everything right with raising my kids? Did I do everything to where I can be proud when they turn 18 and move out and develop their own family? Did I give them as much love as I possibly can? Did I give them as much structure as I possibly could have? And, you know, I have one that's rolled back to me temporarily to stay. But I think from her, I've done all right. You know, I still got one that's got about 5 years before he goes out the door. But, you know, you just never know. And it's very important to realize, though, too, is as long as I stay with all those guidelines in my heart, they'll see that, sense that, and know it, and be able to work off you, too.
Right. As I say, I don't think I've revealed this before, but my biological father was actually a full-blown schizophrenic. So you can imagine what my childhood was like. He is no longer with us. He passed away about 8 years ago now, but there you go.
You know, two things that I instilled in my kids from the time they were born until even this day is, one, it doesn't matter what they do, I'm always going to love them and I'm always going to be there for them. So they are now doing that with their kids too. And number two, think before you speak, because once you say it, it's out there and you can't take it back. Even though you apologize for it, you can't take it back. So those are the two of the biggest things I've always tried to instill in them, and plus, no lying. The punishment's always going to be worse if I find out you've lied to me than if you just tell me the truth and admit to what you did.
And I could add one thing, Eagle Mama. Your tongue could be the deadliest weapon on your body. So always, always think before you say it.
You know, we were taught a lesson, and you ladies brought that up. And we were given a bucket of nails and a hammer and told to go out on the back porch there and just start putting nails into the fence. About an hour later, when we're told to stop, we're finding out that our parents aren't too dumb, because when your parents tell you that every one of those nails that you put into the fence right there, that's a nasty and dirty comment, something mean that you said to somebody, derogatory, pernicious. Now, you want to take it all back? Go ahead and take every nail out. Now, when they take every single nail out of that wall, what's left in that wall or fence? That's right. That hole is still there from what they originally said.
Exactly. And it does scar. It does scab over, possibly. But then when it does scab over, it does leave a scar of a memory that sometimes can be overlooked, but not overcome. And that's why it's better sometimes to listen than to talk. And that's why if somebody comes to you with a problem or their values are down, it's better to listen to what they have to say to become who they will soon trust and possibly be able to come to you and for a better lack of, what's the word I'm looking for, guidance, like our kids do on an everyday basis. And therefore, it's better to say, hey, I may not always have the right answer, but I will do what I can to get you the best answer I can to help you out. For sure, for sure.
Absolutely, and guide you in the right way and whatnot. You may not like the way I'm going to guide you, but you're going to go through trials and tribulations, but you're going to get to the right path.
Yeah, and as most of you know, me and my mother do not get along. She wasn't the greatest of mothers, especially growing up. Whenever I was about 9, she abandoned me and my brothers, and treated my father horribly. She's said a lot of hateful things towards me and my brothers, and if I ever do decide to have children, I know how not to treat them, know how to raise, and how to raise them and whatnot, and yes, it's definitely hard. Like Eagle Mama and everyone said, what you say matters, especially to your children, because they remember things, even as a little kid, stuff that you say to them sticks with them for the rest of their lives, and yes, just definitely be careful with what you say.
And not only with what you say, too, very good point there, Kayla, by the way, it's also how you act. Some people like to wear a couple costumes even though it's not Halloween. Some people wear a costume of sweet, nice, and kindness. 2 seconds later, they're wearing a costume of Freddy Krueger. Or, me, I clown around all the time. I have my seriousness. When it comes to my kids and relationships, I'm very serious. Because those are the most important things in my life. But when it comes to going out in public, I clown around. Why? To make people smile. If I go to the emergency room, no matter how I feel, I'm always walking around talking to the old people, making them laugh, making them smile, doing the weird things. It's how people look at you, too, and the way you act is very important and very uplifting, or it can, sometimes put people in a second idea of who are you. Is that really the way you act at home? Is that how you act in front of your kids or your friends? Or is this just a show? Sometimes it's not always good to run your own show. Sometimes it's good to have somebody with you. That way you can maintain yourself on how you truly act, not with the way you want to act to be obnoxious.
It's the aura you have. It's your center and whatnot. If you're a good person and whatnot, no matter what situation you're in, whether you're in the hospital, whatever, you're spreading joy around to the other patients and whatnot. That shows around you. You could be going through the biggest trial and tribulation in your life. But you know what? If you walk around and you give joy and just a smile or a hello to other patients, in there and whatnot, that's the greatest joy they could ever have. And, that's where your aura comes from. That's it right there. That's what makes you an angel.
Oh, Todd, are you coming on to me again? Am I your angel now? Oh, get with me after the show, buddy. But no, yes, and Todd's exactly right. It makes you who people see, and most of all, it's respecting yourself and showing that, hey, I do have morals and values. Just because you turn 18 does not mean they erase themselves. Yes, it's your choice if you want to act them out and do them, but then again, it's how people. I don't even know what those are big compound words that I'm not good at. Perseverance you, or overlook you, or see you. Perseverance, is that a word? I think so. But anyway, my hooked on phonics didn't work for me. Okay, I was trying to put the batteries in backwards. But anyway, yes. So I think we hit all avenues quite nicely with this whole thing, and but do remember one very important thing, folks. You are who you are. You don't change for somebody else. If you're a happy person, stay a happy person. You will soon rub off on somebody, and if you don't, then that person's not receptive and doesn't want to be a happy person. And sometimes we trap ourselves with unhappy people, and we do our best with what we got. But always remember, it's not worth changing yourself to be somebody you don't want to be to make someone else happy.
No, you always want to be yourself. Always be true to yourself. Because you know what? If you're not true to yourself, it's just a lie. And why live a lie? If you live a lie, then it's a life of lies.
And I want to give a special shout out to somebody that may or may not be listening. Maybe their partner's listening. They can pass the message across. But I want to give a special shout out to Winealicious. Winealicious lives up here in Minnesota, about 20 minutes down the road from me. And let me tell you a little secret about this lady. She came on the channel about a month ago, I believe, and said, "I like the skin you're wearing, Mr. Adam." And though I've been passing it around the room and making it an ongoing joke, I got to really thinking about it. What does she mean by that? And not thinking sick-wise, but thinking positive about it, that she sees that I'm a happy-go-lucky person majority of the time of my life. And she's a friend. She's a friend on here and in real life. I've met her. I've had barbecues with her and her other half, and they like my company. And I was thinking to myself, that's got to be what she means by that. So if you ever hear me say it, which I do quite often with several people, that's me saying, hey, I'm passing this on from another person that thought I was a good person, and I think you're a good person too. So yes, it's all about how you show yourself. And if you love yourself, others will love you too. Anything else, folks? Anybody else want to chime in? Let us know.
Good evening, ROC. Long time no see.
Yeah. Hello. I know who that is. That is Mr. Undertaker.
Well, Mr. Undertaker, thank you for showing up during the show that we have running here until 9 p.m. Central Time. We're just talking about values and what we share with other people by staying positive and our morals that we grew up with. If you have anything to add to it, possibly, feel free. Otherwise, if anybody else wants to add to it, go ahead.
The legendary American badass. And, wow. I love the skin that I'm in. I love myself. I want you to love me.
Well, Adam, I was thinking about, a little this or that if nobody has anything to add on that, if you'd like to go that route. Question for the audience. Which would you rather have, stuffed animals or dolls?
Does it matter which one, or could it be any kind of figures?
We weren't into any of that when I was a kid coming up. I never had dolls or any of that stuff. We played ball and stuff at the local youth associations and stuff, but no, I can't say I ever had stuffed animals or dolls. That's kind of weird. Maybe the girls might have.
Okay, I've got to fess up. You guys knew I would, didn't you? I've come out of the closet for 2 seconds, okay? You know what? I say dolls, and I'll tell you why. I never yelled at my daughter ever when she was really little, okay? Maybe once in a while I did. But anytime I got mad at her, I would take one of her Barbies, and I'd pop the head off it. And I'd use her Barbie heads as bowling balls. So anytime she did something naughty, growing up, I would take a Barbie head off and I'd roll it across the floor right in front of her. She would cry. But hey, anytime she was good, her Barbie head stayed on. So I guess I could say I played with Barbies.
Taco Bell.
What's up, everybody on CB Radio Drama Free? What's up? What's up?
Well, I'll have to say I'm a big stuffed animal collector. I still have stuffed animals from when I was a little girl growing up. I have a stuffed animal net hanging in my bedroom with tons of stuffed animals in it. So yeah.
Hi, everybody just joined. Welcome to the This or That show, where we run from 8 o'clock Central Time to 9 o'clock Central Time. We're in our last 15 minutes or so, talking about this or that, whether you like dolls or stuffed animals. And I just let myself out of the closet by saying I used to play with my daughter's Barbies. Yes.
We didn't have either. No stuffed animals, no dolls. So maybe a cardboard box.
When I was a girl growing up, I had both, and I loved teddy bears. And I was a country girl, and I was kind of a tomboy at that. And all my Barbies, they went out back and in the backwoods with G.I. Joe. So my Barbies were rough and tumbly, and I loved my teddy bears, though, to sleep with.
I used to play with Barbie dolls, but not the way you think I did. But I used to play with them with a shotgun out into the backyard, into the woods.
All right, here's another one. Let's see what the audience says. Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
Neither. I'd have to go with French toast.
Pancakes. Crepes Suzettes.
French toast. I'm not a pancake fan, and I love waffles, just not the blue ones.
Yeah, I like the waffles for the little holes that trap all the butter in it, the melted butter. But you know what, Kayla, I have to go with you too. I'd rather have French toast too. That's yummy.
No, you're both wrong. No, it's waffles, like you said. It's got the little squares in there to hold the butter and the syrup in there. That's it. It's the number one deal.
Oh, definitely waffles. Now y'all just made me hungry for waffles.
Yeah, it's got to be waffles. It traps the syrup, the cinnamon, the butter, yeah, and okay. I have to have little sprinkles on mine. That they sprinkle on a cake. Yeah. Well, it got to add color to it, okay?
All right, well, here's one. This is one to only ask a guy. So only the men respond to this. Let's see. T-shirts or sweaters?
Tank tops, flip flops, and waffles are awesome. Wheat, flour, both of them. Well, we won't talk about the blue waffle.
T-shirts with the sleeves cut off.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with t-shirts when I'm just sort of casual around, and polo shirts.
Yeah, no blue waffles on this one.
Well, maybe some blue food colouring, Mike. Sweatshirts.
Oh, I was teasing my mom a few weeks ago and she looked that up. Her face when she saw it.
You don't want to know. And I know everybody can hear Eagle Mama's not sure what a blue waffle is. Please do not tell her. Please, please, do me a favor.
I got one for the ladies. Only the ladies. Wash rag in the shower to wash your body, or those little spongy freaking sponge ball things with the string.
My lady swears by those little squishy things that you hang on the shower fixture. And no, don't tell her what a blue waffle is. Let her look it up so she can see an image that she'll remember, that it will resonate with her.
Them scrunchy puffball things, you mean, Adam?
Yeah, no, I don't like those bath poofs because to me they're just kind of vile and dirty and they don't really wash very well. I like a wash rag because you get a clean one every time. And the bath poofs, they hang in the shower. Yeah, poof. They hang in there and they just, I don't know, they collect bacteria, I think. Yuck.
What about the exfoliating gloves? Have you seen them? They're like sandpaper gloves that you use to scrape your skin off.
If I got sandpaper gloves, I'm using them at work to grab shit in the snow, not to scrub my body.
He's like, yeah, sometimes I have that not so fresh feeling. Get down there where most people tain't there. Yeah, keep that thing smooth. Slip on these new gloves. They're 4,000 grit. Oh, baby, smooth.
Yeah, I can't say I need to sand that down at all. Wow, that's all I gotta say. Mine just went turtle just thinking of that situation. But anyway, okay, well, I do know that they have those wash rags. They're mittens now that you can put a mitten on, and they're soft, and they lather up soap really good with them. And you can just rub your hand across your body, and it leaves a soap trail, and you can scrub yourself and so on with them. I'm thinking about getting a set myself to check them out, but yeah. All right, I got one for either or, men or women. Scrub brush for dishes, or what do you call that thing? Okay, it's a scrub brush with the bristles all over it, or just a regular dish rag.
I use something that's got an SOS pad on one side and a sponge on the other.
Yeah. So it's a combination. Me goes in the dishwasher.
I was about to say, I got this new thing. They call it a dishwasher.
Well, I have a dishwasher too, but sometimes stuff gets stuck on there. You got to kind of scrape it off because sometimes even running it through the dishwasher don't come off. I'm posting a picture in the box of my little scrubby.
Oh, I can appreciate that. I got a dishwasher too. She's standing here eating my dying peaches.
You're cooking.
Goes to show you what Eagle Mama's feeding me. You know, stick to your ribs, stick to the plate, stick to the dishwasher,
It's all bacon
whatever.
wrapped.
Yeah, it's all bacon wrapped. Yeah, okay.
Give me a couple of minutes, Eagle Mama. I'll show you my version.
Well, as we're posting pictures in the room and whatnot of what we're using to scrub our dishes, I want to give a special thanks once again to Computer Chick, who does a lot of work. Never complains, but always is always there for us and gives us the 100% of what she has. And a special thanks to Rattlesnake and LBT for, there's just no words to describe how much they mean to all of us. And we've all given plenty of gratitude throughout the show and every day that we're on here, saying thank you to them for being who they are, real people that give a heck about our feelings and have a special place for us to come to get to know one another, learn from one another, and to love one another. And everybody else that's been listening out there in the faraway lands all over the world, we give a special thanks to you too for listening to this or that, whether it's myself and Todd. We're coming up to the end of the show. If there's any last minute things that want to be talked about, feel free to talk about it. Late night has already been called, so feel free to talk a little naughty in my ear. Anything else for you, Todd? Let me know.
Absolutely. Late night has been called early. And yes, talk is naughty as loud. And yes, I would like to thank LBT and Rattlesnake and the audience for participating and everything. And please do not forget to tune in to the Brain Tool Show Saturday night and Sunday morning at midnight till 2 a.m. And of course, tune in to Psycho Bagpuss and Miss Kayla for the afternoon twist at 1 p.m. on Sundays. Both excellent shows. Definitely need to tune in for that. And thank you to everybody for tuning in tonight. Had a great night, even though I've been extremely tired, but thank you so much, and we will see you next week.